Great. Nice. Better?
Welcome to today's Clarity Chat. We extend our heartfelt gratitude for being with us in over 115 sessions, made possible by your support and engagement. Management wise, IT is the most complex function. Four reasons why. One, IT managers have to grapple with fast evolving technology landscape to address their specific industry's processes. And these processes span across the entire organization. Number two, IT management is a nascent function, merely 30 to 40 years old. Number three, technology talent is asymmetric. Over 90% of the technology talent is on the supplier side. And number four, the Hotel California syndrome. You can get into any technology, but you can't come out of it. Therefore, the decisions have to be careful, yet are complex with the context of all the above factors. The intense marketing noise and pricing tactics makes decision making more difficult. Clarity Chat helps you make sense of IT management by bringing live, interactive interviews with esteemed business and IT leaders. The discussions guide you with invaluable insights into technology and leadership. The Clarity Chat sessions have seen 60 plus guests and not only CIOs. They share their knowledge, life experiences, and insights with all of you. We have also conducted 33 freewheeling Ask Me Anything sessions. Many of these delved into focused but diverse topics such as change management and program management. Clarity Chat is tech savvy and virtual. I and my guests have attended these from diverse places, and our audience attends it from across the globe. Clarity Chat is all about you, our audience. We work hard to enrich your 1 hour with technology, leadership, and insights. We listen to you. We run an annual feedback process via surveys and focus groups. Not that we are able to do everything you tell us, but we calibrate to our best ability. Throughout our journey, we have celebrated milestones, making each occasion special with special guests, panel discussions, and thematic explorations. Thank you for being part of our incredible journey. Welcome to today's Clarity Chat.
Hey everyone, welcome to this 124th edition of Clarity Chat. Today we have with us Atul Jayawant, the retired Group Executive President and Group CIO of Aditya Birla Group, and now a board advisor, mentor, and thought leader, sharing his insights with tech startups and public sector banks. Sir, welcome to the session. Cheers.
Thank you, Jagdish. Happy to be here.
Thank you, sir. So, Atul is a very, very well-known name in the technology circles. He has over 40 years of experience in technology management and digital transformation. His journey started with a bachelor's degree in applied science from St. Xavier's College and an MBA from JBIMS Mumbai. He did a brief stint with Siemens. Then he spent 21 long years at Unilever, where he was the founding member of the IT Application Center of Excellence for Unilever Asia, and held key roles including that of CIO of Universal. Oh my God, looks like I'm still groggy from my afternoon.
Are you sure you had tea?
Yeah. I'm having tea. Let me take another sip.
Okay.
Yeah, I take a beauty nap before the Clarity Chat, and looks like I'm still not fully over it. Okay. So, including CIO of Unilever Ceylon. That's a beautiful place. So we'll hear something about that from Atul. For 14 years, Atul served as Group CIO at Aditya Birla Group, driving IT governance and synergies, including setting up a group captive. His leadership philosophy is leadership is not about position or role, but it's about contributing with wisdom, learning from failures, and adapting with times. It's about conducting yourself always with the highest standards of integrity, caring, and taking accountability. So we will cover his life story, but our focus will be on a few themes which are so important for the audience. Being a role model, he shared many inspiring mentor stories, which he'll share with you. Work ethics and culture, managing a conglomerate IT. He has very interesting insights for people who are managing sort of group companies IT. CIO as a strategic translator. I'm going to pick his brains on this. This is a very interesting topic that he has excelled in, and of course, some failures and learning. So we'll end the chat with a rapid fire round to bring out the personal side of Atul, and then a reverse question to me. We call that a revenge question. So for now, Atul, before we start talking about serious things, let's get some energy going up. Please share, some very interesting incident from your professional life.
You know, uh, First of all, let me just say thank you and welcome to all the people on this call. It's really a delight to meet all of you and share experiences. And I'm hoping also to learn from the questions which come, because the fact is that things keep changing, and all the wisdom of how many years is only as good as yesterday. So things have to be always uh, seen ahead. So I'm an accidental manager, as I was telling you earlier, and I had no intention of getting into industry or into least of all computers and IT. So becoming a doctor, joining the army, becoming a research scientist. In fact, as you said, my basic qualification is in fact in biochemistry and microbiology. So I was doing my master's in science, and when I had an accident at home, my father passed away, and that's when I had to take up a job, and I started my career as a commercial trainee. In fact, so this itself has given me a sort of a diverse background, which fortunately for me, the companies I worked for, they found value in that, and it has worked well for me. 40 years is a long time. And plus now I retired in 21, from 1980 to 21, which is about for 21 to 40 to 21 to rather 81 to 21, which is 40 years, and now 3 years as an independent advisor. So it's been an exciting journey, and number of insights, learnings.
So, sir, sir, this one is specifically about that incident. Let me give you a cue. When there was a strike and you found your
Yeah,
manager doing something. Please,
you know,
please,
two,
please.
three, two, three learnings as a young guy, 21-year-old fellow who had no background about industry, and joins a company like Siemens. And, so all these are learnings. So the first learning I had was from my boss, my first boss. There was a strike in the factory, and there was nobody to take the work orders which were getting printed from the computer to the shop floor. And I found this gentleman early morning, 7 o'clock, because I used to go early in the first shift because I had to do my evening MBA course, sorting out the work orders. And I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "No, there's nobody to do it. So I'm going to take it to the shop floor." And that was the first lesson in something called accountability, responsibility. Once you have taken a responsibility, it doesn't end saying that I have printed those cards. The second very important lesson was actually a very big failure on my side. I started my career in purchase, in fact, not even in IT. I joined Siemens as a commercial trainee, and in purchase department. Again, 21-year-old fellow, distracted mind, मालूम नहीं क्या चल रहा था. Uh, Printed the purchase orders. I was a buyer actually, and the rates were wrong. Everything was in a mess. And my boss sat in front of me and said, "Atul, what is this going on?" And I have cried. There were tears down my cheeks, saying that how stupid of me to do this thing. And that has taught me the lesson, saying that look for details. Don't just think everything is easy and simple and straightforward. So
Yep.
the eye for detail I learned there. And similarly, so these were the sort of
Awesome, sir.
experiences.
Yeah, sir, we'll go through it, sir. I've just sent you a quick chat, sir. If you can look at it, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, there are very interesting stories like this, which we will be, no, no, sir, on the StreamYard itself, the
Yeah,
private chat option. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, got it.
So, um, yeah. Uh, so we will know more such, incidents from Atul as we go through the chat. By the way, but before we bring up these things, I want to acknowledge our audience. So we have CXOs, founders, IT managers, and seasoned technology industry leaders in our audience. All of us know that technology is necessary but not sufficient to drive business performance. The guests on Clarity Chat have built the bridge between necessary and sufficient with their art of managing technologies. And Clarity Chat builds that bridge between their learnings and all of you who are trying to make a powerful impact with technology. So thank you all for joining us for the last 123 episodes and encouraging us with your interactions and questions. May I request my audience to share their name and where you're joining from in the comment box of LinkedIn or YouTube. But meanwhile, let us see if there are people who have already joined us. Oh wow! So Amarinder, as usual, is here, the first one on the block. Greetings to everyone from Namma, Bengaluru. Good evening, Mr. Atul, Jayawant, and Jagdish Belwal. I must express my gratitude to Mr. Jayawant for his kind support to our CIO Academy education programs several years ago at the Indian School of Business, Hyderabad. Excited and looking forward to the Clarity Chat. Sir, I was telling you before this, there are more people who want to listen to you than you think. And I'm sure you would have forgotten about this one before Amrinder reminded you of this.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
as I said, it is the people. You meet various people and you learn so much from them. And as you were saying, Jagdish, the other day, that there are so many teachers all over the place. And as managers, we have to be aware that we live in a glass house. Our actions, our behaviors, what we talk, how we speak, what we do
absolutely.
is seen by everyone. And
Yeah.
to that extent, therefore, this whole thing about being a role model becomes so important.
Yeah, no, absolutely, sir. So, so guys, please send in, please make your presence felt. Otherwise, it will be like me and Atul talking over Zoom with Amrinder as an observer. Please do make your presence felt here. So, meanwhile, sir, let's do a quick one, which is give us an overview of your education career, the companies, the roles, and one highlight of each. We'll go through it a little fast because we have like some really good, stuff coming afterwards, which will again dip into the same, tenures. So yeah, let's keep it to like maybe in 5-7 minutes. Tell us about your
I
education
know
career,
it's going to
company
be a
roles.
tough call because so much to
I
cover.
know, I
But
know,
let
I
me
know,
make
I
it
know, I
very
know, I know,
very
sir.
crisp.
Sir,
So born.
sir, I have to, sir, you must understand. I have to get the best out of your 40 years in
Okay.
1 hour. My job is very tough.
Chalo, chalo, chalo. Let's move on.
Please, sir. Yeah.
So basically, I was born in Bombay, but not brought up in Bombay. I've My father had a transferable job, so changed 6 7 schools till I was in eighth standard itself, and finally decided to do a career in actually research, and that's how I joined Xavier's as I passed out in 1980 with a BSc in microbiology and biochemistry.
Wow.
And I was all set that to do masters. In fact, I was doing masters in Institute of Science. And as I said, there was an accident at home, and because of which I had to take up a job. And my first job was with Siemens. Siemens used to take, the German system is to take apprentice. So they had engineering trainees and commercial trainees. They didn't have a concept of management trainees. So I joined as a commercial trainee. Literally worked in the accounts department, passing entries, etc., which was a very good learning, and started my career, in fact, really as a purchase buyer. So I was a buyer in the purchase department in Kalwa factory. Moved across to IT because Siemens wanted to have their own IT team. So I was sent to TCS for training in systems and programming. Came back Came back, joined the programming team, systems and programming team. Worked in Siemens for 5 years, so it's not a short stint. It was quite a good stint. The learning there was Siemens was all about development. They didn't expect anything from me except to give. So the learning there was to be a giver. I mean, we always look at commercials as give and take, but here it was a company which gave so much without really putting pressure on taking back from its trainees. So it was a wonderful stint, lot of learning. Then I moved to actually a company called Brook Bond in Bangalore because it was a good career move as an assistant manager. I got married in the meantime as well. I did my MBA from Bajaj evening course, which was tough. But again, the learning there was that it is possible. I used to stay in Bandra. I used to go to work in Kalwa factory, and college, as you know, is in Churchgate. So did all that, and maybe that was something which uh, got me my career progression into a management role in Groupon as an assistant manager. And Then there was a merger between Bourbon and Hindustan Lever, and I was one of the first people to move from Bourbon to Hindustan Lever. The learning in Hindustan Lever was again extreme professionalism. I mean, in Siemens, it was engineering, technology, excellence, perfection. While in Hindustan Lever and Bourbon, it was completely being market savvy and again, great respect for professionals and professionalism. A big learning experience. We all know Hindustan Lever is the CEO factory. We also now know that Hindustan Lever is the CIO factory and a CFO factory. So it was again wonderful. I think I have learned in the University of Life, to be honest, and that was a great learning. Finally, as you were saying, stints with Unilever Ceylon as the CIO, stints with Unilever London as the head for global supply chain IT, which was again a wonderful learning experience, working with different cultures, different companies, how to influence, how to get your because at a group level, even whether it is any group, the operating companies are actually the profit centers. The corporate is not a profit center. So how do you get people to align and to contribute and to give up some of their powers? IT is just a vehicle, but it is a bigger thing about human behaviors and getting people to see the larger good. So that was a great learning. And finally, with Aditya Birla Group, I joined in 2007 as the group CIO. Again, a completely different company compared to both Siemens and Hindustan Lever, but a company which has great leadership. The chairman was the height of hard work, humility, humbleness, and total support for his managers. Uh, and again, when we come to that section, we will talk about the ups and downs. And there were very big downs as well. There were big setbacks, and the
We'll come
total
to that.
support which I got from management. I think that has been really the reason where why this marathon was completed, or this I will not say even a test match, a test series. 44 years is a long time for any career, and still batting, so not bad.
Oh no, that's awesome. So quick takeaways. What I do for my audience is like so Atul started with like from bookkeeping, moved to technology, learned technology excellence, perfection in Siemens, which is primarily a German company. So those are things that define Germans. But then the learning was be a giver, and then he did his MBA in between. If you want to really understand what Atul meant, just look at the geography of Mumbai and try to locate Bandra, residents in Bandra, factory in Kalwa, a residence in Bandra on the western line, factory in Kalwa on the central line, and then back to college in Santa Cruz on the western line. You will understand, like, what the challenge is talking about. I'm sure all the Mumbaiites understand that challenge. Again,
But
moving to
Jagdish, to be honest, you're young and it can be done. I know the
yeah,
lesson there is I'm not an extraordinary person. I don't think, and a person who had no background at all in commercial or in industry,
yeah.
he comes in from a research background. He is doing a master's in science, MSc in science. As I was telling you, my first test in Siemens was debit and credit, and I got 19 wrong out of 20. So, if you start life like that, if you make such
Oh, no,
stupid
absolutely.
mistakes in purchase, in your purchase order,
No, but
and yet the
yeah.
boss tolerates you and you complete 5 years there, and similarly,
No, absolutely, absolutely, sir. So, just wrapping up this particular section, guys, can you hear me? I see. Okay, now I see. Sir, you had frozen for a little while, but I think now it's okay. Yeah. So, no, absolutely, sir. I think we had another chat. I'll remember the name of the CIO, but this guy was he had a similar story to tell, that his management supported him to do the B shift, okay, so that he can go to the college in A shift. And he used to live alone, and he used to, he used to get up early in the morning at like 6 o'clock, uh, go to college all the way. I think almost 1 hour train journey, and then come back and straight away go to the factory, work till 10 o'clock at night, sleep by like 12 o'clock or so, and then again 4:30 in the morning the routine starts. So yeah, but I think what defines the budding leaders is the hard work they are ready to put in. They are ready to test their limits, and I think that's what sets the tone for the future. So very, very valuable lessons, sir. So coming back to Brook Bond, and then Brook Bond's merger into Unilever, joining Unilever, doing multiple stints, and learning two very big things. One is multicultural working. It is basically sensitivity to different cultures, and very important thing that Atul mentioned, and I just want to dwell upon it a little bit, is like, what is the real collaboration? Real collaboration, the difference between collaboration and management is that, in management, you are working through the lines of command and control, whereas in collaboration, you're working through influence rather than with direct power. And if you really want to excel in corporates, I think you need to learn that art of influencing and collaboration rather
very
than
true, very true.
trying to grab more and more power with yourself. And of course, Aditya Birla Group, the chairman himself being a role model of hard work, humility, and supporting the team members. But great takeaway, sir. So, sir, I want to now come to a very important topic here again. You worked in great organizations and with great mentors. So please share a few mentoring moments, maybe two or three of them, that shaped your leadership, that left a mark on you, and shaped your own leadership style, based on what you experience from your mentors.
No, I was thinking about this, Jagdish. I think the biggest mentors for me in my life have been my parents, to be honest. Because if you're changing 6 7 schools till you hit 8th standard, it's very easy to get demoralized because your marks are not good. Sometimes you're studying Gujarati, sometimes you're studying Marathi, sometimes you're studying Hindi or CBSE standard in central school. Sometimes you come to ICSE standard of whatever, and there is always this discontinuity. So the support and the sort of thing at home to say that no, it's okay, don't worry, we are with you. And if you don't have one career, I didn't get the enough marks for my medicine, so my father said, doesn't matter, uh, try something else. I wanted to join the army, I did well in the military school. I'm actually a gold medalist in the military school, and that didn't work out. Doesn't matter. And research scientist, something happens at home. So, in spite of all the issues, to still go ahead, it requires a lot of support from anywhere. In my case, it was my parents who were my first mentors. The other thing is, as you know, I started very early at the age of 21. So the people at work, and I was giving you the example of my first boss and the work order distribution. And similarly, the purchasing guy, purchasing boss, purchase manager, that in spite of making such blunders, to support your guy and tell him that no, doesn't matter, please be attentive, be firm. I mean, there was no mollycoddling. And the reason why I told you I was crying is I felt so ashamed of myself. The realization that how stupid can a person be to make such silly mistakes. And it was not that he was yelling and shouting, but that was a lesson in how to get across and make a person feel from the heart that he has done something really wrong, and how to improve on that. The other example I was telling you is my boss in Brook Bond and Hindustan Lever, in fact, who has been a great personality in shaping my own character, is my boss Lalit Sawhney. I'm still in touch with him, and my first meeting with him, I was telling you, the meeting was at 9 o'clock in the morning in Fort area in Bombay, and I had to come all the way from Bandra, and I was planning to go to Kalwa factory, and this guy lands up at 9:30, and I had all plans to rush back to the factory so that I don't lose the day. And I gave him a piece of my mind. I said, Lalit, this is not the way. You call for a meeting at 9, and you should have known that your flight from Bangalore will get delayed or whatever. You took me for granted. This is not fair. And the greatness of that man, he was the IT head, a general manager IT of Brook Bond, and I was a assistant manager trying to get into that company. And first interview, and he said, Atul, I agree with you. This is my mistake. I should have been more careful. And that has been a big lesson for me, that if you are wrong, accept it. There is no point in arguing, but this happened, sorry, I know, I misunderstood, what can I do, this is not my problem, and how dare you speak like this with me, none of it. And he said, okay, have a glass of water, let's settle down, are we ready to have a chat, let's have a chat. And again, with Lalit itself, I remember going to Lalit and saying, sir, I don't know what to do, this or that. And the lesson was so great. It was a lesson of ownership. And I never forget it. And I always repeat it with my colleagues. He said, Atul, if this was your company, you're no longer an assistant manager. You're no longer a systems manager. You are the owner of this company. I have made you a managing director of this company, and you decide what is right for this company. And whatever you decide, I will agree to that. This is the lesson of ownership. How many of us treat this job or this assignment as if it is my company? I am no longer working for someone. I am not a cog in the wheel. I am the wheel. Okay, and that
Absolutely,
has been a
absolutely.
big impression. Okay, and similarly,
Awesome.
if I go to my stints in Unilever and London, the discipline, the sort of approach, the work ethic, the relationship building, the whole concept of celebrating success. I mean, we talk about celebrating things, if they work out. I have seen for the first time people celebrating what did not work out, and how we now know what is the right way to do it. The team building exercise in Unilever London, we were all taken on a to Barcelona port with two yachts and two old captains, and we were deckhands, and I had never stepped my foot on a boat. Most of us did not even know how to swim. So we were told that these are the two boats and this is the captain, and you guys are supposed to be his deckhands. Now
Oh,
you see what happens. And we that was a lesson in working with. You spoke about collaboration, right? This is collaboration. There is a deep ocean there, and all of us are in the same boat, literally in the same boat. Okay, so you swim, you run the boat, or you sink. So that great
awesome,
learning,
awesome.
right?
No,
And then
absolutely.
finally with Aditya Birla as well, fantastic. The way to deal with companies, the way to deal with various, formal, informal power structures. It is not just about meetings and minutes of the meeting and using the boss to influence, saying that chairman को बोलो फिर वो काम हो जाएगा. नहीं नहीं वो you have to show up, you have to deliver, because this is, as they say, the Americans say, show me the money, for the rest trust in God.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So no, no, that's great, sir. I think this. I mean, these are very, very important stories, and I think this also. Uh, this also these there are also valuable takeaways. Like for example, the new joinees will always make errors. You have to show patience with them. You have to give them a chance to improve, and that's what they always remember. Okay. And then again, like I think this your job interview with Lalit Sani, and then you basically going on top with him without really understanding the consequences, or without realizing the potential consequence, and then he simply accepts it, and then calms you down and still hires you. I think again, again a great lesson. In fact, just an aside on this, in my own experience, I've seen that the people who are the most vociferous, who are your most vocal opponents, actually they care about what you do the most, and that's why they are the most vociferous. It's like you care about punctuality a lot, so you mention it, and that should tell your boss that, oh my god, the first value has come out in the first interaction, which is that this guy is going to be punctual. Anyway, so then I think very important one, lesson in ownership. Treat the company as your own. Don't always look for, like, is it going to be good for me? Am I going to be really benefiting from this? But is it the right thing for the company to do? I think when we were talking, you told me about the context where, like, you had to go and take a role, and you were not very sure how it is going to be for you, whether you should take it or not,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah. So that's about taking initiative. Ultimately, as I said, life deals various cards to you. A good player doesn't always depend on the cards. It depends
Yeah,
how you play those cards. So you can have very
yeah,
bad
absolutely,
cards, and how you deal with them. So my
absolutely,
my stint
absolutely.
in Unilever Ceylon was a classic stint. One Friday afternoon, I was told by my boss that, would you like to be the CIO of Ceylon? And I said, "Bhai, what happened?" He said, "No, this Brazilian expatriate was there. He's suddenly taken ill, and he has to fly back to Brazil. And there is this opportunity there. Would you like to go?" And my daughter was 6 months old, and they didn't even have the passport. My wife and
Oh,
daughter. And I just flew across to on a Monday morning to Sri Lanka, and the family followed me. And same
yeah,
thing with University London. The original role was that of team member, and I said, no, I don't want a team member role. Why should I report to somebody? I'm a senior enough guy. I need a team leader role. And my boss, who was the finance director of Hindustan Lever, called me to his house and told me, Katul, you're making a big blunder. Please go there, even as a team member. Don't worry about the position. Contribute, deliver results, and see what happens. And surprise of surprise, within 12 months, I was made the head for that project, a global project. And the rest is history. I mean, it was absolutely, again, as I was saying, the support of my bosses, saying that any other person would have said, "Oh, this guy is so hung up about his role and position. Let him be here. What can we do? He doesn't
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
go. Let him not
absolutely.
go." They
Yeah.
supported me, they encouraged me, and I went there. Um, and so that's
Oh,
what
awesome.
happens.
Yeah, so let's move on. I see some questions here. So there's a question from Amarinder. So we'll just take a pause, like in whatever questions I had for you, and let the audience questions come. So uh, question to Mr. Atul Jayawant: it is always easy for outsiders to ask questions. Kindly pardon the same. Why is it difficult for conglomerates to make super apps? Do you expect more super apps to come from Indian conglomerates? Please share your thoughts.
No, that is true. Amrinder, that is very true. The reason is very simple. The reason is there is something called focus. The companies are focused on business. I mean, if you look at, for example, Ultratech, which is a cement, it's the world's fourth largest cement company. If you look at, let us say, another company to give you, even Siemens, for example, or Hindustan Lever, in spite of, or Unilever, in spite of great prowess in their domain, why they are not able to make an impact in terms of super app, or get into the technology space to that extent. I think it will happen over a period of time, because there is a lot of domain knowledge. It's a matter of time before that prowess gets reflected in the technology space as well. Today, they are asking somebody to translate their problem into a solution. A time will come when they will say that we know, we understand this domain very well, and we can develop it ourselves. But I think it's a matter of time. It requires talent. It requires, obviously, a focus, which right now their focus is on business, which is right, because business is extremely complicated, complex, becoming more difficult. Nobody can take his position for granted. Look at GE, look at all these big companies, storied companies. The lifetime of these companies is again becoming very short. So they would rather excel in making money in their domain, and then as things evolve, maybe they will get into technology space as well.
So, sir, my take on this, if you allow me, is that it's sort of a deja vu, right? Because takes me back into, like, early 90s, when we started our careers. At least I started my career, and there used to be this big promise about ERPs, that ERP means enterprise resource planning. We will do everything. We will do engineering and design, and we'll do supply chain, and we'll do CRM for you, and we'll run all the enterprise processes for you, accounting and all of that. And I think it didn't take much time for people to really get disenchanted by that approach. And so there used to be this debate between, like, uh, one grand solution versus best of breed, and the architectures used to kind of be around these two philosophies. And I remember this was a debate we had when we were when we were looking at extending the technology beyond ERP. And then we said, okay, we are going to go for the best of breed. And I think most of the people have moved there, because for one company, as you rightly said, the talent and resources for one company to attract the talent and resources across a very, very diverse set of you know uh, technologies, domains, processes is very, very difficult. And it can just get very bureaucratic for you to move all of these pieces along in the same the governance overheads are just too much. And I think I see the same the same kind of topic in a different light when we talk about the super apps, that you have diverse businesses, with different boards and different completely different domains, and you want all of them to come on one app. I think it is the same thing, which is like, once one company for all your needs, versus like, going for best of the breed kind of solutions. So let's take up another question, sir, on this, which is coming from Dr. Kamal Karnatak. Hey, thanks Kamal for joining us. He says, greetings Atul, how do you keep yourself updated with rapid technological changes?
Thanks, Dr. Kamal. Again, I think it requires effort. It is not easy with so many things happening, and again, um, if you are a working professional and in today's world, things are tough. It is a 24 by 7 job, and work life balance and all that takes away a lot of your time on different things, which are all very important, right? And fortunately or unfortunately, we are in such a line that if you are not moving forward, you are dead. There is no other option. Okay. So how do you keep yourself updated? You know, I found one very good way was to make it as part of your job. So I used to always welcome partners, consultants, vendors. In fact, I had organized a sort of a protocol by which there would be a formal presentation. Instead of just some salesman coming and talking about the product or features, I used to say, no, no, call your product head and let's have a session with my team on a set day, a Friday evening. We should have a presentation by your top technical person on what this is about, how does it fit into my requirements. That's one idea. Second idea is that you should encourage your people to attend seminars and conferences. There is fun and games, there is Goa, there is some sort of happy times there. What is wrong with that? Somehow there is this feeling that, oh, no, no, don't go to any of these vendor events, they are evil places. There's nothing evil. If you trust your people, give them a opportunity to go and mix with people, meet people, talk, make presentations. I used to always say that it's a great honor if somebody is asking you to make a presentation about how you manage the cement logistics. What is wrong in that? And of course, it has been, all the key the competitive elements are being sort of moderated, etc. It gives, and if you say that no, there'll be attrition. I mean, again, it's a matter of trust. If you don't trust your own people, and the fact of life is you forget about lifetime employment. It is your job to create conditions that a person stays with you, including training and development. Now, here's again the learning from Hindustan Lever versus Aditya Birla. I must tell you this. When I came to Aditya Birla, I was shocked. The first training program, I was a speaker. I found half the class was not there. I said, "What is the problem?" He said, "No, sir. Our boss has called for a meeting. No, sir. His mother-in-law is not well. No, sir. Usko train ticket, plane ka ticket nahi mila." In Hindustan Lever, if you have been nominated for a training program, it is next only to a promotion. If you don't attend a training program, it is a minus mark against you. In Aditya Birla, the culture was it is an optional item. It's a holiday. मजा करने के लिए भेजा है. And in my 14 years, I hope, I believe that culture has changed. So
No,
I said
absolutely.
to many people,
I think,
nothing
sir.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, sir. I think you are setting us up for the next question about culture. But let me quickly summarize. So Dr. Karnatak's question was about, like, how do you keep up with the technology changes? It is like, you send your people to conferences. If they enjoy, why do you have a problem with people enjoying? As long as they are learning. So you have to build a culture of learning. Don't control the exposure of your people, in the insecurity that, you might lose them if you expose them to different industries, different leaders. You have to be able to attract the talent. And I think, so I think when you said you build a culture of learning, I said, okay, that sets us up for our next question, which is, about culture. So Atul sir, you have always emphasized on a strong work ethics and fostering a culture around this. So how do you balance between, a very high quality of work, discipline, as well as caring for your team? So please share some examples from your, like you did one right now. Please share other examples of how do you build a high performing culture.
No, again, this is a hallmark of all great companies. Jagdish, you were in GE. I had the fortune of attending the World 100 GE Leaders program in their facility in near New York. I forget the name.
Crotonville,
I mean,
Crotonville,
huh?
Crotonville.
Crotonville. What a facility! I mean, again, it comes from the organization. The truth is, some organizations have it, some organizations don't have it. Now, if you are part of such an organization which has it, well and good. Then you are part of that Behti Ganga, Naha lo aap. If you're not, and I've seen as an advisor when I am no longer working for these great companies, I work for different types of companies. There, I think, again, the CIO or the leadership team plays a very key role. If you think this is the right thing to do, you can be the agent of change. So it starts with you. It may start with the organization if you're lucky. If not, then you start doing it. And how do you do it? You don't do it only by talking about it. You do it by behaving that way. So it is your behaviors. And what are those leadership behaviors? The leadership behaviors or the culture behaviors or the ethical behaviors are, okay, that you start practicing it. Because as I said right in the beginning, we are all living in glass houses. The fact is that.
Yeah.
Okay, so people are watching us, and
So, sir,
minutely they're watching us.
sir, let me. I just realized we have got like a few important questions left, so I'll sort of speed up now. Sorry for that, sir. Give me one example of a great cultural trait that you picked up at each of your company. Let's start with Siemens. One great cultural trait.
No, the culture in Siemens was hands-on, completely hands-on, and that's it. As I said, this guy, the general manager IT, was actually distributing the work order himself.
Work
So
orders. Yeah,
that
yeah,
a complete hands-on thing.
yeah. So, sir, I
Buffon,
think.
sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, sir. I think we did discuss about each of these companies, and like, I think this came out very clearly in your mentoring stories also.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I want to make sure that, like, we finish our agenda. So let me skip on to the next question, which is a very important one. I mean, it's about your 14 years at Aditya Birla Group, and during that time, there was a rapid growth. So how did you manage to keep the flock together, drive
Ah,
synergies and align everybody
yeah.
common goal?
Yeah. So,
Let's spend some time on that, sir.
yeah. So Jagdish, first of all, it is not about a conglomerate or not a conglomerate. Okay, every company, to my mind, has aspects of being a conglomerate because there are different divisions, there are different units of the company. They are like a mini conglomerate. I mean, every company is in a way, some shape or form, a conglomerate. There are different business lines of business. There is a contention for limited resources. To that extent, there is a lot of similarity between. So traditionally, when we say conglomerate, diverse conglomerate, we talk about, okay, multinational company. it need not be that way. It can be even a smaller company with multiple lines of business. It happens. The biggest issue there is what? Biggest issue there is you have to understand the what is the business of this business. Okay, so that sensitivity is extremely important. You cannot come as a witch doctor from outside saying that, as you gave the example of ERP, that I have a solution for every problem. Many times in IT, there is a solution without a problem. You must have heard that, right? So
That's how they sell technology.
you cannot be a guy with a hammer in your hand and saying every problem is putting a nail in the wall. So ERP is like a hammer. Okay, ये नहीं चलेगा. So the first lesson, and because in some ways I am not a very hardcore technology background person, I can appreciate it much better. So I look at it from a business first point of view. I look at it, I say that let me understand what is the issue first. And we have to appreciate that different businesses, different lines of business, different sectors can have different problems. They can look at it from a different point of view. And if you keep the focus as a solutioning focus, okay, then half the problem, because nothing works like success. If there is a delivery, if there is a result, if there is an outcome, if there is an impact, then your influence will follow. You cannot have influence without impact, and you cannot have impact without influence.
Yeah, exactly.
So coming to Aditya Birla, then, and of course, it's a bit of an extreme example because it was so diversified, such a diversified company, from telecom to cement to mining to fashion to financial services to aluminium mining. So usme basically you have to deal with different companies and find a common thread. What is the common thread? One common thread could be governance. One common thread could be risk. One common thread could be how to use the resources judiciously. These are common problems. Talent. Everybody complains that IT talent is very scarce. Quality IT talent is impossible. The consultant are fleecing us. Oh, everybody comes and paints a great story. We are not clear exactly what is going on. And here is our CIO who's telling us something, but we don't think he really understands. So there is a need for somebody to bring that center of excellence idea, to bring that thing saying that, okay, we will synergize. Instead of the vendor going and giving different rates to different companies, can we have a scale, a economic scale, such that the large and the small and the minor companies all get the same level of benefit?
Absolutely.
To उसमें question will come, why will the Hindalcos and the Ultratechs and the Vodafone Ideas and the financial services dadas listen to what works for a small company? And this is where, again, you have to find value. It is not about, in the beginning when I joined, a lot of people told me, Atul, the chairman doesn't support us at all. I said, why should he support you? Do you need to go and cry on his shoulder? You show value to the CEOs. You discuss with them, you influence them, you understand their business, and you say this can be a great win-win for us. Okay. And one example, we spoke about super app. One of the examples, in fact, in Unilever, was this thing about having a repository of purchasing information. We had a global data warehouse, a Spends global data warehouse. And the origin of that was once when Unilever chairman went to meet the British Airways chairman, he said, Unilever is our biggest customer. So somebody asked our chairman, Unilever chairman, okay, who's your biggest customer? He said, I don't know. So this is again a value. So you have to understand that as a conglomerate, as a group, what are the areas where we can actually deliver great value to the business.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. I think that's a, so just to summarize this, um, just to summarize the takeaway. So it's like, managing the conglomerate. So put the business first. Don't try to use a solution to fix every problem. It's like, having a hammer and finding nails around. And of course, success begets the success as well as influence. We have to find the common threads, which are, where the synergies are like, very immediate, like governance, risks, leveraging resources and talent. And I think one very important one that you brought out was supporting the small companies. The big companies have the size and gravitas and the negotiating power, and if the small co- and you they and the small companies must benefit from them. Otherwise, what's the part of being a larger group, right? And uh, and I think one very very important one that you mentioned is like, what is, as a conglomerate, what is your value as a customer or as a supplier to others? Are you really harnessing that? But it's a great one. I know, so we are just 5 minutes away, so I'll take the liberty, like every time I'll take the liberty, to go a little bit over time with you. But I will be in a rapid fire mode now, which is like, 1 to 2 line answers to questions. Meanwhile, Neeraj Bajpayee has shared some of your thoughts. There is a solution to no problem. Yes, even if you have no problem, somebody has a solution. In fact, it starts with the question, "How come you have no problem?"
Correct.
Okay, and I think his second recounting is like sensitivity to business problems. I think that's a very very important trait of a leader, or if you're in any of the corporate functions, you have to focus on the business and be sensitive. So, sir, a quick one. As in a rapid fire mode, you talked about the CIO's role as a strategic translator. So, what do you mean by that? Give me 1 or 2 examples. 1 minute max.
You know, IT in general is confusion. And this AI, all these newfangled things which are coming in, people are completely lost in this. And unfortunately, the strategic advisor is, or translator is basically first understand the business. It may sound very simple. In fact, one of the best managers in Aditya Birla is my friend Raj Narayan, who's head of the chemicals business, and now he's a COO of the Ultratech business. He told me saying that, Atul, IT people are super intelligent. They are over intelligent. We business people are very simple people. हम तो खाली बनाते हैं और बेचते हैं और पैसा बनाते हैं. तुम लोग मालूम नहीं क्या क्या बात करते हो. हमको बिल्कुल समझता नहीं है तुम्हारा क्या आईटी है. If we just look at this and say, okay, how do we simplify? How do we understand? How do we make whatever great technology ideas we have work for my business? What is my problem? That is the strategic translation, nothing else. There is nothing, no big science behind it.
No, I think that's a good one. Basically, technology by its very nature will tend to be complex. I think, as a strategic translator, are you able to convert that into the simple language of business? I generally call it that, that English, that the business people are like English, like England, and the IT people are like French, and the CIO needs to be the English channel which connects the two.
The problem is, Jagdish, we get so entangled in technology. I One of the worst things about IT people I find is we behave like consultants. We don't behave like employees. We don't behave like business people. I always maintain that IT people are business people first. They are not IT. There's nothing called IT people. We are all business
No, I
people.
agree. I agree. We are all business people, sir. Yes, sir. Just in the interest of time, again, we have 2 minutes away. Um, Share. So again, I'll make it a rapid fire. Share your biggest failure and what you learned from it.
Oh, multiple failures, but biggest failure I would
One biggest one. In the interest of
uh,
time, yeah.
actually I'm perfect. I don't know why you are asking me such a question. But no, in Aditya Birla, again, there was a major security breach, major breach. I mean, the entire group ka data center was down for 2 days, and it was my personal failure. I mean, in spite of all the investments we had done and all the great technology we had put in and all the greatness of the great Atul Jayawant here, but we had a failure, and that was the biggest failure in my career.
Learning.
Learning was again uh, you have to be paranoid. It is nothing is enough. If you feel that everything is, I actually thought, in spite of everything, that oh, we are well off. We were not well off. There should have been more questions asked, more probing done. We should have been always the red teaming. I think we didn't do the red teaming. That is the learning. We should have always done the red teaming and said, no, there will be a chink. We have to find the chink continuously.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good one. That when it comes to risk, you got to be paranoid. You cannot control all the risk, but you should understand what is the
So I
management of the
learned
risk.
something, Jagdish, sorry to interrupt you. I learned something very important. They said there are only two types of companies which are hacked, and companies don't know that they are hacked. So
Absolutely.
there's nothing called, I'm okay. Every company is not okay.
No, I agree with you. I mean, sir, my personal learning here has been that things will happen. I think what you need to do is, like, look at the severity of things and make sure that you control the most severe stuff that can bring the company down. That should take the highest focus and the highest investment. And whatever else you're not able to control, sometimes you have old hardware, old software, you cannot control it. Just keep like some sort of a watch on those, and look for anomalies. Anyway, sir, I think, sir, I'm done with my question. There was another one which came from Amarinder. This was like, more like a deja vu or a nostalgia comment, which I still want to bring up. So Amrinder says, I knew this will come up. We are remembering you, Lalit Sawhney, sir, in this clarity chat. You are a cherished mentor to stalwarts. Hope you are doing great. Uh, Mention Tapan Gagan Jagdish. Yeah. Yeah. So looks like even Amrinder has some cherished memories of Lalit, sir. Yeah, sir, wherever you are, we are remembering you. I mean, I haven't interacted with you, and I think, I would look for the first opportunity to interact with you. um, so on that note, I think that's been an absolutely amazing chat. Thank you so much, Atul, for sharing this. Um, before we close, we have two important sections. Should take another 5 minutes, and this has to be like real quick. So this is our rapid fire section, and then the reverse question. So, sir, your what would have been your alternative career?
Army.
Awesome. Okay, and I think you almost became a doctor and research scientist, of course. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So what has been your what do you think has made you very adaptable, and to changes in the environment?
The childhood. No, that's why you see, Jagdish, children of the bank employees who have to move locations every 2 3 years, or children of the
Armed
armed
forces.
forces. The reason why they do so well in life is because they are used to this thing, and that is the funny thing about life. Easy life is no life. The
Right.
more disturbances are there, you become stronger.
Absolutely, sir. Okay, so, sir, the difference between a good manager versus okay manager.
Contribution.
Awesome. Okay. Advice to CIOs and aspiring CIOs.
Business first.
Business first. Okay. So share. Okay. So one book you will recommend for people.
One book. Oh, Malcolm Gladwell. उसका जो बुक है कौन सा है वो, अबाउट हाउ द people around you make you successful rather than
Outliers.
outliers.
Awesome, sir. Three things a leader has to stop doing to make space for his own growth.
Stop doing. I think he should get out of his cabin, or his domain, meet people. Second thing is he should be hungry, curious. Third thing, or what he should not do, is be self-contained, self-satisfied, lack of curiosity. What he should not do again is um, be very proud, be humble, accept, take accountability.
Okay, awesome, sir. So I think whatever you mentioned, there is a counterpoint to it. So when we come to that, so it's like what you said was that, so don't think the world is inside your cabin. Get out, right? Second is like, don't be satisfied. Be hungry, and don't be very satisfied. Get outside of your comfort zones. Okay, so one advice to the next generation of leaders. Let's say a
Next
30
generation.
a 25-year-old aspiring to be a CIO.
Oh, the world is a wonderful place, and there is so many opportunities. I mean, enjoy. Make the most of your life. This is ऊपर वाले ने तुमको. You are so fortunate to be where you are. What you can do wonders.
You just have to be fearless. Absolutely. Okay, so sir, last thing before we wrap up, we are at 6:05. I think we still have done well, despite like being a little slow till 6:50, 6:55, 5:50, 5:55. So sir, the last one, I've been putting you in the box, and I've been asking you all the questions. So I give my guests an opportunity to take revenge by asking me one question.
No, Jagdish, obvious.
What's your first question to
I
me?
think I think this is a great initiative by you, and I commend you and your team for your dedication and the way you have done so many episodes. You are saying this is the 124th. Please make use of this in some way. Monetize or not monetize is a different issue, but so that is a wealth of knowledge for the aspiring professionals.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. So, guys, we are almost done. The last thing I do is like summarize it. If somebody doesn't want to go through the entire 1 hour, they just need to watch the last 5 minutes of my summary. So let me quickly go through it. And thanks, Sumit, for putting it together for us. So yeah, we went through Atul's initial Atul's professional journey. He joined Siemens, got into accounts, got into IT there, and then joined Brook Bond. Brook Bond got acquired by Unilever, learned the extreme professionalism, leadership factory, and got like really mentored in Unilever, learned the art of collaboration and influence, and working across cultures. And then came to Aditya Birla Group, and then again, learned the hard work, humility, and supportive leadership, through the chairman. Then we were talking about the mentor stories. I think the first one was the most powerful one. He made 19 mistakes out of 20 in bookkeeping, and the manager was still supportive. So guys, when you get the freshers, they'll make mistakes. Support them. Again, there was a Lalit Sawhney mentoring story that so Atul sort of like went ballistic on him. He came late and Atul was in time, and then he just took it in his stride, and didn't really throw his weight around. I mean, it's like accept when you're wrong. Again, the lesson in ownership. treat the company as your own. Don't look for role, don't look for position, number of reportees, etc. What needs to be done, and don't throw people down. Again, build relationships, celebrate successes, and use influence as a tool rather than the formal power, and show results and build credibility. So we then had a question from Amrinder about, like, the conglomerates. Why do they find it difficult to make super apps? And well, both Atul and I responded to that. So Atul said that it's a matter of time. It requires talent and focus. And I sort of went in a deja vu mode, and we discussed about how we used to have 30 years back. We used to have this whole debate between one company serving all your IT needs, or going best of breed, and actually the world went best of breed. And probably that's where we see a parallel happening now, that can one group or can one conglomerate fulfill all the needs of your uh, of the consumers, and would really consumers want something known as like a completely Anani consumer or a completely Birla consumer? Okay, so the verdict is out on that. I'm not giving a verdict there. And then we had Dr. Karnatak, who asked a very good question about how do you keep updated with rapid technological changes. And uh, I think Atul had good, sometimes, like, counter insights on this, that uh, send your people to conferences, be open to learning, create a culture of learning. Even that culture of learning should also be a culture of teaching. So when people invite you to make presentations about what you're doing in your organization, be open to that. Never feel that if I send my people out to conferences and all, they will get exposed, and somebody will coach them. I think you should have enough pull internally, as an organization or as a leader, to hold them back. And the underlying feature was, the underlying theme was that you will build a culture of learning, and you will automatically be updated with all the rapid technological changes. So again, we discussed about managing IT in a conglomerate. I think Atul's experience is that you have to keep business first, understand the business, understand the problems, and don't use technology as a hammer, and try to find nails within the organization. That doesn't work. Success begets success. You have to show the money, you have to show the success, and that will get you more openness within the other companies. It will give you influence, and you will get more success. Find the common threads where you can make impact. Governance, risks, leveraging resources and talent, these are like common problems across multiple group companies. You can actually fix those. Support the small companies in the group with the size and gravitas of the larger companies of the group. And I think that's what kind of creates a very big value, where your smaller companies can be more efficient, and they can grow really fast, by taking support. It's like a creeper going around a large tree. Your small companies are like creepers, and support them with those big trees. And I think very important one, again, coming from the Unilever experience, that as a conglomerate, what is your collective value as a customer to somebody else? Let's say, for example, to an airline, right, or to a hotel, as well as what's your collective value as a supplier to to somebody else, maybe your peer, or some large corporation. So very, very important one. And I think that particular, answering that particular question can guide you towards what you need to do as a group, some things that you will not do as individual companies, right? And I think one of the biggest one will be, like, consolidate your data. So what Atul mentioned was, like, a complete purchasing data warehouse across the organization that Unilever had. And I think that's something, that was a good pointer to being a conglomerate, and then having, showing that value, or at least understanding your own value to for your suppliers and customers. We talked about failures. I think Atul was humble enough to share about the cybersecurity failure, which brought the data center down for 2 days, and then the very important learning that be paranoid about security, and don't take things for granted. So that was, the quick summary of our almost a 1 hour very engaging chat. Thank you, Atul sir, for joining us, and thank you everyone, all the audience, for attending and engaging. As always, we have a quick summary from Amarinder himself. He does it every time, and I thought that let me bring it up. He says that learning in rapid fire fashion from Mr. Atul Jayawant sir, moderated by Jagdish Pelwal, your plans for life where life takes you. Be an explorer. First and foremost, understand the business, show value, and you will surely get support. Nothing is enough. You have to be paranoid. As managers, we live in glass houses. A sense of accountability, dive into details, be a giver, work through influence. Easy life is no life. Get outside of your cabin, but the most important is to be humble and hungry. Amrinder, every time in my in our clarity chats, I tend to look at your comments just when we are like ending and we are bringing up the conclusion video. I try to bring it up, but then thanks for this summarization. It always helps, and I thought I'll bring it up right before I end the chat. So thank you everybody for attending and engaging. Thanks to all of you too who are watching the recorded version. I know a lot more people watch the recorded version than people who join live. Please enjoy your weekend and your family time. And once again, thank you, Atul sir, for joining me on Clarity Chat today. We'll be back next to next Saturday, that is 28th September. Till then, goodbye. And thank you, Atul, once more.
Thank you, Jagdish. Thank you all the team which has made it happen, and thank you all the audience for spending your Saturday evening. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye. Enjoy your
Bye.
weekend.